back to Sunrise. We'll turn our attention now to politics, and this is within the PDP. We're joined now by Ahmed Gulak, who is a member, Convention and Zoning Committee of the PDP. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, already we see some headlines saying the PDP Zoning Committee meeting deadlocked. Many couldn't agree. What exactly is going on?
I don't think it was deadlocked. You know, some consultations are ongoing. You know, meeting and consulting robustly the stakeholders, especially the senior stakeholders. And unless and until we consult robustly, we cannot come up with something that majority will agree. And that is work in progress. But to say it was deadlocked is misnomer. It's not true.
But at the moment, have you agreed on anything?
Yeah, basically we have agreed on positions zoned to the north and to the south, because we have to zone the positions we have. But some people are making the mistake. Some people are bringing in the presidency, the vice presidency, the senate. We don't have that one for now. We can only zone the positions we have, and the positions we have are the positions for the party. The 12 positions of the National Working Committee and some others that are deputies. These are the only positions we as a party can zone for now. As a fact, our inaugural meeting in Uyo, we zoned 5 positions to the north and 7 positions to the south.
Ahmed Gulak, it's interesting that you say we zone. You know, we have not reached any decision yet, but we are consulting.
As a party.
I mean, you use that word we.
Yeah.
Because I recall that, you know, before now, you were at loggerheads with the party, it would seem.
I have never been at loggerheads with the party.
When you said you were chairman of the party.
I have never been at the loggerhead with the party. All I did was to show our party that we have to follow the path of constitution. We gave ourselves the constitution. We must believe in our constitution, so we must follow the constitution. And when I saw that the constitution was not being followed, I had to rise up to the occasion and say, look, man, we have to follow our constitution. And when I exhausted the internal mechanism and nobody was listening to me, I had to test the constitutionality of what they were doing in court. And that was...
So you went to court?
Yeah, I did. And that does not mean that I was at loggerhead with the party.
It wasn't termed an anti-party
no,
act.
You know, you have to understand what anti-party means, and also have to understand what following the path of constitution means. You as a political party has given yourself a constitution that you say you believe and trust and will follow it. And when somebody sees the party is drifting, it's not following the constitution, the way you say, look, we should follow our constitution, does not mean you are engaging in anti-party activity. It doesn't follow.
I thought the party doesn't, they frown at members taking them to court.
It also depends on why are you taking them to court.
Because then I recall that what we get from the party is that you have to exhaust all
the internal mechanism. Which I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
So how
First and foremost, when Maazu resigned on the 20th of May 2015, after we lost election, ordinarily we would have thought that all the other members of the NWC would have thrown in the towel for new managers to come on board, but they didn't. Maazu left, and the constitution says somebody from his zone should replace him. From May to September, we saw nothing was happening. I wrote a letter, I went to the NWC, I mobilized our stakeholders, former ministers, former senators, former Senate president. We went, made our presentation, gave position paper. Yes, there are vacancies in NWC and BOT. We must fill these vacancies in accordance with our constitution. Nothing happened until I went to court in November, having exhausted the internal mechanisms to solve our problem. When I went to court in November to say, look, this position belongs to the Northeast, that is what our constitution says. And the court on the 16th of December gave judgment that either me, the plaintiff, or any other person from the Northeast should assume that position within 14 days. Well, they appealed. Secondus appealed against the decision. Instead of abiding by the court order, he appealed. He filed notice of stay of proceedings and execution. It was thrown out, both at the trial court and in the appeal. That was why, because there was vacuum, I had to take extra political step to assume leadership.
Are you all together now? Because
yeah, we are all together now.
Sometimes some thought you left the PDP.
No. I've never left PDP. We are all together. We are trying to build the party. A new chairman has emerged from the Northeast in accordance with the court judgment and the Constitution, and he has been appointed by the second highest decision-making body of the party, that is the NEC, as it is today constitutionally and legally by virtue of our Constitution and the appointment by NEC, selection and election by NEC. Ali Modi Sharif has emerged the party chairman.
In other words, you have no problems with that whatsoever.
I have no problem with that because we have followed the path of Constitution.
How did your party arrive at Mr. Sharif being your national chairman?
Like I said, there are some stakeholders of this party, some senior stakeholders, BOT members, our governors, our senators, our House of Reps, elected members, and people who know the history of this party. And in NEC, that is the National Executive Committee of this party, in their own wisdom, they elected him to be the chairman, to replace Maazu from the Northeast.
And what about your convention?
The convention is slated to hold on the 21st of May this year. In fact, we ought to have, we are if not for the shift by 1 week, we would have gone for our world congresses this Saturday. But we have shifted it for another 1 week. It will now start on the 30th of this month to culminate in the National Convention in Port Harcourt on the 21st of May.
So what exactly is causing the contention over zoning within the party?
It's interest, political interest. Like I said, preliminary in the interim, the zoning committee has zoned 5 positions to the north and 7 positions to the south. And now in the south we have 3 zones. The stakeholders must sit down in these 3 zones, the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south, to again, rezone these positions to the 3 zones. Then in the north too, the senior stakeholders will sit down and rezone these 5 positions to the 3 zones, northeast, northwest, and north central.
So is it that you say that now that you've been able to agree on which seat will go to what zone?
Yeah.
You said that minimum has been agreed.
North and south.
So, but before that time, there was contention over that one, wasn't there?
There was never a contention, because we are beginning on a clean slate. We are beginning to rebuild the party, and we have to give the party back to the people. And the chairman has convinced a lot of us that yes, this party must go back to the people, especially the youth. Let them elect their own officers at the ward level, the local government level, the senatorial district level, the state level, and even the national level.
You see a brighter future for your party?
Very, very bright.
If you say that there was no contention, what do you say to the stories of people who say that there was some, battle over who was going to be financing the party and why it was that the presidency or the chairmanship of the party should go to the north?
Who is going to finance the party is something taken as given. The members of the party will finance the party through our various means: membership, dues, donations from party members. That is how we finance the party. As to the positions to be zoned, we must limit ourselves to available positions in the party.
Let me rephrase.
And that's where some people. Okay.
Let me rephrase that. I mean, yes, financing the party, all members who pay their dues, as you rightly said. But your party would seem has the strongholds in the south region of the country, where it would seem that it has majority of, the states within its stronghold. Doesn't it just follow naturally?
I don't believe in saying that the party has a stronger hold in the south because we failed election in 2015 and maybe we won some governorship seats in the south more than in the north. Does not make the party regionalized.